Welcome, everyone, and as I just mentioned, let's stay away from Fireman's Group. I'm sure that all of their speakers have taken money for themselves or for their nonprofits from firemen. Their speakers will all be telling lies, which come right from firemen's lobbyists. Every word they say about the essential and great Protection Act and about park history are total lies because they have sold their soul and sold their integrity to firemen in return for his money. Shame on firemen's puppets. There used to be Toys R Us, and I'll call the fireman gang Lies Are Them. They are defiling the sanctity of Liberty State Park with their lies. I'm not condemning, as I said, the regular people there. Hopefully they'll read some of the news coverage and hear what some of our people say, that the Protection Act is needed after 45 years of battles. We really need this rally to urge the governor to do the right thing and publicly support the Protection Act. Let me ask Neil, is there echo? I think. It's okay. Their event is organized by Firemen's Phony Front Group, whose CEO, Stovell, admitted that he is funded by the billionaire. Their phony group, and what a hell of a name, Liberty Park for All, because if firemen got CAVEN Point, Liberty Park would not be for all. Liberty Park is for all right now, and that's why we got to keep it forever. Their phony group has viciously attacked the Protection Act, all park advocates, the Friends of Liberty Park, during public meetings and letters to the editor and in a local free propaganda rag. Stovell's evil smear campaign has exploited the Black Lives Matter movement. The Jersey Journal stories last August refuted all of their lies. Stovell's puppet master, Paul Fireman, wants to discredit and again kill the Protection Act because it would protect the CAVEN Point natural area, which he wants to destroy for millionaires' golf holes. Their event is a shameless assault on the truth and a shameless assault on the overwhelming majority, which has always wanted this park to be forever free without privatization. And I do condemn the commissioner of the DEP, who probably got orders from the governor's office to allow their rally to be right in the middle of our path to our rally. We got our permit 3 months ago. They got theirs 3 weeks ago, and they could have been elsewhere on the lawns on Peston Drive, and there was no reason for our people to have to go all around them, and they'll have their competing rally with sound probably in a few minutes. So the DEP did the wrong thing by allowing them to be right in our face and so immediately close to us. So that's enough about their lies and them. Thank you for taking a stand today for the Protection Act. This is a major crossroads, as tens of thousands of people before you have, and many of you yourselves have done for many years. We're putting democracy into action to protect this sacred and scarce urban open space and urban nature from privatizers. The Protection Act would have become law in the last session if it wasn't for firemen's political contributions and the lies of his lobbyists. We have 111 groups in the coalition to protect Liberty State Park. Thank you to all of those groups, with 40 of those groups from Jersey City, and we'll hear from a couple of their representatives today. And we also have passed 29,000 petition signatures, and that's mostly without personal contact during the pandemic. The park must once and for all have permanent protection. We are here to strongly urge the governor to publicly support the Protection Act and for the governor to urge the legislature to pass the act. Governor Murphy, it's time to take Liberty State Park off the chopping block. A recent New York Times story commenter from New York asked, what's wrong with New Jersey that wealthy evildoers would even consider attempting to grab state parkland for private gain. Is everything for sale in New Jersey? And we know Liberty Park has been for sale so many times. And it's been people power that stopped it. And we will stop this assault by firemen. What a no-brainer choice for the governor to choose to listen to 45 years of the broad public consensus voice of the people against privatization, or the governor can choose to continue his silence. And the governor's silence is collusion with firemen. Governor Murphy has given only lip service to Liberty Park, calling the park a treasure in our state belonging to every family. CAVEN Point won't belong to every family if Murphy or a future governor lets firemen install no trespassing signs at CAVEN Point. As the August 25th Star-Ledger's editorial demanded of the governor and the legislature, keep billionaires' vanity project out of our park. It's obvious to anyone not bought off or lied to by Firemen's Gang that the governor must support the Protection Act. Governor, 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 support the Protection Act. And Governor, end your silence. Governor, end your silence. Governor, end your silence. End your silence. Governor, say no to the billionaire. Governor, say no to the billionaire. Governor, say no to the billionaire. Governor Murphy, what are you waiting for? Governor Murphy, what are you waiting for? Governor Murphy, what are you waiting for? Hey, firemen, hands off our park. Hey, firemen, hands off our park. Hey, firemen, hands off our park. This park is truly the people's park. We, the people, own this park. It's our public land. It is exciting that the DEP, after 25 years of studies and public meetings and funding efforts and this past year's surveys, are moving forward with great plans for the interior for remediation and restoration of 234 acres and 50 acres of active recreation in the interior and 11 acres of active recreation facilities outside the interior. That's happening. This DEP is the first one to be open to active recreation. The Friends have always supported active recreation, and now it's definitely going to happen. And that will basically complete this park and make it a true Central Park type park. The Jersey Journal's February 22nd editorial, though, stated what continues to cast a pall over the interior discussions is the vicious and untruthful campaign against longtime park advocates that appears designed to stop the passage of the Liberty Park Protection Act. A year ago, firemen said, oh, I'm not interested in Liberty Park anymore. I'm just interested in social justice. But that was just a publicity stunt, because all he did was switch to the phony front group who's protesting there today. So Fireman is 100% doing all he can with the legislature and his friend the governor to kill the Protection Act, because it would protect CAVEN Point. So we are showing people power again today in this decades-long American epic grassroots battle of the people versus public be damned profiteers pushing to dismember our park. We are on the right side of history in this people's battle against the billionaire. We will persevere, and we will never give up until the Protection Act is passed. So thank you for coming today. It's just so great to see all of you wonderful people out here on this beautiful day fighting for the park.
Thank you, Sam. Let's give it up for Sam Pessin once again. We're on sacred ground, but used to be contaminated wasteland and abandoned rail yards. And now look, urban, free, open, green oasis, not just for Jersey City to enjoy, not just for Hudson County to enjoy. 12 million immigrants went through the portal you can see behind me to realize their American dream when they went through Ellis Island, New Jersey. Ellis Island, she sits in Jersey City's waters. And the pre-pandemic number was 5 million. 5 million park goers like you and me and our families who enjoyed this park on an annual basis, coming from all over the country, all over the world. And that was the pre-pandemic number. And the new number is higher, because one of the silver linings of the tragedy we've endured over the last year and a half is connecting with our families and our loved ones and the great outdoors. And we don't have a lot of space like this in Jersey City. Mayor Fulop and his city council have fought hard to maintain and improve our parks and have demonstrated an unprecedented commitment to preserving green space. But this is a national treasure. This is a national treasure, and it's a rare open space gem that over the years, they keep trying to sell. In the past 3 decades, they keep trying to sell it. What's changed is the real estate broker, who we never gave a listing agreement to, who tries to market it. What's changed is the would-be buyer. What's changed is the potential use they say would be better when it's privatized or commercialized. What hasn't changed is that the owners of the park, the people, we never listed it for sale. So let's codify the Liberty State Park Protection Act into law. And Teddy Roosevelt said, "The nation behaves well if it treats its natural resources as assets, which it must turn over to the next generation, increased and not impaired in value." But let's address some of the false narrative that we're hearing from our few friends just across the way here. We want active recreation at the park. The only way to pay for active recreation is to sell some piece of it to Paul Fireman, who's just the latest would-be buyer, commercializer, privatizer of a portion of the park. Through a land swap is what he wants to do. But there have been many others before him, and there will be many more after him. So this isn't about one person, and it's not about a golf course. It's about putting this notion to bed once and for all that this park would be sold. If they tried to encroach on 1 inch of Central Park, you wouldn't ever hear it even conceivable as an idea. So why would we allow it here? So let's address that notion. The mayor's not opposed to active recreation. The governor's not opposed, and the DEP's not opposed to active recreation. And guess what? The advocates and the Friends of Liberty State Park and Baykeeper, New York and New Jersey, and every environmental group I've ever heard from, they're not opposed to active recreation at the park for disadvantaged urban youth in our community in Ward F. And Ward F Councilman Jermaine Robinson brought it up to me. He came to me and offered ideas and proposals, as did other advocates, on how to change the composition of the advisory community to include the community in which Liberty State Park sits. And they talked about active recreation and cleaning up the uplands and other parts of the park. Read my bill. The latest iteration, first of all, amends it to include those recommendations about broader community participation. No problem. And no version of the bill ever prevented cleaning up the park, adding active recreation. We welcome it. We called for it. P.S. We fought for it. And we got the state DEP to put in an unprecedented investment to doing that. And guess what? I never once heard Sam Pessin or Greg oppose those ideas. They thought they were great ideas. So that's a bunch of baloney. We're happy to see active recreation here, but we don't want to see the park commercialized. We don't want to see the park privatized. We don't want to see the process through which this park will be improved corrupted, or undertaken without public input. That's what this law is about. And by the way, in addition to calling for the governor to sign it into law, which I think he would if we got it to his desk, let's call a spade a spade. Let's get the bill to his desk. The Speaker, and I'm a committee chair, and I'm on his team, but I'm going to say this, and he's my friend. The Speaker needs to post the bill for it to get to the governor's desk. The Senate President needs to post the bill for it to get to the governor's desk. So thank you for being here and supporting this effort and defending the People's Park.
First, let me say thank you to a couple people here. Let me thank you to Greg Ramon, the baykeeper here, who has been a tireless advocate for decades. And of course, the Friends of Liberty State Park. Many of you are officially involved with the organization. Some of you are not. But those that are here as part of that, thank you very much. And let's give them a round of applause. And those of you that aren't as familiar with the history of Jersey City, we wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Morris Pessin, which is Sam's dad, and who many decades ago had a vision of what this was possible to become, and took a canoe ride across to the Statue of Liberty. And over the last several decades, Sam has dedicated himself to always being on the right side of this argument. And I know Morris is looking down, smiling at you, Sam, and we just want to say thank you for your tireless work. Look, you all, well, let me take a step back and say this is the second rally that we've had to come together on maybe one of the most beautiful days of the year. Those of you who were here last time, a couple months ago, it was very, very similar circumstances. And I know that all of you would choose to be somewhere else today on a Saturday if you had the opportunity to do that, because who wouldn't want to be spending this day with their families and loved ones? But you choose to come here because you love this park and you love Jersey City. You're not paid to be here. You're here for all the right reasons, which is very, very different from what's behind you over there. So I just want to say thank you for coming out today on this. And there's a strong message in that. There's a strong message that regardless of the circumstances, we will be out here and we will be strong. Look, over the last year, there's been a healthy conversation around active recreation in Liberty State Park. And you've heard a lot of different voices, and many of you have been involved in that. And I'm happy, like Sam is happy, that we've come to a place where everybody acknowledges that we can invest in the park and improve the park and include some active recreation on that. And we have a roadmap to do that the Friends of Liberty State Park has endorsed, and the people up here has endorsed, and the DEP has been a part of. And so that's no longer a conversation. So you're at the next stage of the conversation when we're talking about privatization of the park, and a simple piece of legislation down in Trenton that would protect it from being privatized. And I struggle with what is the purpose of the rally behind you, because I don't really believe that any of those people, if they truly understood what they're fighting against here, would really be on that side of the ledger. Because who in their right mind would be against privatizing part of this park? And I know that that's our mission. Our mission is to make sure that everybody understands that this is no longer a conversation around active recreation versus passive recreation. We are well past that. We're at a point today where we're saying collectively that we do not want to be here every single year, every single 6 months, fighting for what we know is the right thing to do. We've been here when they wanted to make the first golf course, and then they wanted to make a water park here, and then they wanted to have a marina over here. And now this is just the latest reiteration of what we've done time and time again. I'm 100% sure that at the end of the day, we will prevail because our track record is undefeated, and we're not going to change it now, right? But we are collectively, as a city, as a county, and I think the entire state of New Jersey shares our sentiment that we want the governor to sign that bill, and we want Senator Sweeney and Speaker Coughlin to post that bill immediately. That's the bottom line. So we will continue to stand next to Sam, and with the Friends of Liberty State Park, and with all of you, because it's the right place to be ultimately. And we will do everything in our power to make sure that not one piece of this park ever becomes privatized, period. Thank you, Sam, and thank you all for coming out today.
Thank you. God bless you, Mayor.
Once again, we're here saying thank you to Sam, and thank you to all of the advocates who are tirelessly out here every single year trying to get two simple things done. I'm going to be really brief. Two things: post it, sign it. That's it. Post it, sign it, that's it. Then we can come together the next time to celebrate the victory and to celebrate the space.
Thank you. Where's Shane?
I'm here representing Loretta Weinberg, who is hanging out with her grandkids, unfortunately, but she wishes she could be here today. But she's been a long-time advocate for Liberty State Park because she understands how much this park means, both ecologically, but also for the community, for all of us here. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge, too, that Raj McCurdy's been a lion in the Assembly fighting for this bill, and Senator Brian Stack has been doing the work in the Senate, but we do need Speaker Coughlin and Senate President Sweeney to pass the bill. Because, yeah, I mean, we have the mayor and council, county support, but we need this bill. So I know we all know this, but for our friends across the way, I just want to talk about what this bill does and why it's important, right? So as a state park, Liberty State Park, Jersey City residents and city government don't necessarily have a say in what happens here, right? Like, it's really on the DP and the governor and Trenton dealmakers, and I say that as one myself, and Trenton dealmakers to decide what happens to this park right now. It's only our solidarity and our unity and our spirit of community that has been saving this park all this time. This is what the bill seeks to address. It takes the power out of Trenton and brings it right here to you, to me, to the people behind you, to our community, and that's what we need to do. And it's been heartening, as Sam mentioned, that the DEP has taken a more positive role in this process, and it's easy to let your guard down when things are going okay, but we can't do that, because we know the minute we take our eyes off the ball, Paul Fireman or someone else is gonna swoop in and try to take our park. We can't let that happen. You know, I live here in Jersey City. I'm here all the time, whether I'm just biking or relaxing with friends. But you know, I don't know about you, but I don't want Trenton dealmakers or Massachusetts billionaires or anybody else making decisions about our park. I want it to be us. I want it to be our community. And it's them who should be deciding this park's future. So Senator Weinberg is retiring, so we are committed to taking a real run at this in the fall when we return to the legislature. You know, it's sad that she's leaving, but listen, we're not here because of any one person. We're here because we're here together, right? We're here because we're united, and that's how we're gonna win this. Hopefully this November, December, but by hook or by crook, we will get there. So thank you so much for everybody who's come out. Thanks to the organizations that have been keeping this alive. I know I'm a representative here. I don't want to miss anybody. But really, if you haven't gotten involved, you know, find somebody wearing a shirt. It's easy. But let's get this bill passed. Let's get this bill signed. Let's do this. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to Sam for putting this together. I'm here on behalf of Senator Stack, who, like Sam said, is the prime sponsor of this bill. And I want to say thank you to the coalitions, the organizations, the supporters, and all of the elected officials behind me that are here today as well to support. When we think about urban spaces, such as Union City and Jersey City, and much of the larger part of Hudson County, people often imagine big buildings, lots of commercial spaces, and that's why we're here today. We're here so that that's not what happens to this precious space that we all look forward to enjoying, especially in the summertime. Now more than ever, longtime residents and nature lovers continue to find solace in green spaces. Just driving up here today, I saw so many different people using the space for so many different recreational activities. We had people having picnics, reading books, enjoying time with their families, with their pets. And so if we take that away, then what are we gonna have left for our future generations and for our kids to enjoy? Senator Stack, who's also the mayor of Union City, has been a longtime advocate for preservation of green spaces. The Liberty State Protection Act establishes a Liberty State Park Advisory Committee and outlines ways to preserve this beloved green space. Senator Stack's efforts are only the latest on what has been a decade-long battle against privatization. We are urging all state legislators, and especially Governor Murphy, to protect these lands. They are to be enjoyed by every family and local community. Thank you. I appreciate everyone that's out here today. This is a very important cause for us all, and let's continue to urge Governor Murphy to sign this bill. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sam, for being so, fearfully fighting for this all your life since your parents, and also for all the Liberty State Park friends. And it's sad. I'm agree with the mayor 100%. It's sad that across the I will say street or fence, whatever you want to call it, there is a group of people that are fighting for the wrong reason, and they don't understand that that will benefit them and their family and their children. Because as also my colleague, Commissioner Cedeno say, people come over here to enjoy this beautiful land, which is, the weather, the breeze, the birds, the fish, doing barbecue with the families and friends, biking. My husband and myself, we are really, a strong advocate because we come here biking, running, walking, and just enjoying, the beautiful nature of this, beautiful land. And as, also our councilwoman that she just had to step out, she say, what we have in Jersey City. We don't have much in Jersey City. This is, one of the biggest parts that we have in Jersey City. So we had to protect it. We had to preserve. So I'm here humbly and pleased to ask our Governor Murphy to please sign the Protection Act. Thank you, and thank you for being here.
I'm here to support this effort. Sam and your dad before you, you are the protectors of this park. You've been the protectors of the park since your dad took that famous ride on the boat, little canoe, and showed what great park we had here. And we must preserve this park. We must post the bill. We must pass the bill. The government must sign the bill. And I think beyond that, I was talking to Raj and talking to Mayor Fulop, we should probably just get a constitutional amendment passed. So we never have to worry about this again. Because I would tell you, 80% or more of the people that live in this state do not want one single iota of land ever privatized. And Sam, you're right. We've been fighting over and over again. Every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, somebody has a new thing. They want theme parks. They want raceways. They want whatever it is. Over and over and over again. And we need to stop that once and for all with the strongest legal, legislative, publicly passed matter to end this fight once and for all. So, Sam, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thanks for all the elected officials here. And if we got to come here every week, every month, we'll just do it till the people that have to wake up and do the right thing do that. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Hoboken is in the house. We are with you 100%. I want to first salute Sam. When Hoboken had its battles over privatization of our waterfront, Sam and the Friends of the Liberty State Park were with us shoulder to shoulder, and we're with you here today. We're here with you always. When Commissioner O'Day says 80% of the people in New Jersey are with you, I can tell you 100% of the people of Hoboken are with you. Everyone who represents, I represent, Mayor Bala wants to extend his congratulations to everyone who's here today and let you know that the city of Hoboken stands with you 100%. We love this park. We bring our families here. It's not just a Jersey City park. It's not just a Hoboken park. It's a New Jersey park. It's a national park. We love this place. We will not let it be privatized. Governor Murphy, legislature, Speaker of the Senate, Speaker of the House, of the Assembly, post this bill, sign this bill, pass this legislation. Thank you, everybody.
Good morning, friends. I just want to say thank you, Sam, for your fight, your tirelessly fight over the last 4 decades. And I really want to say thank you to your dad, Morris, because he is the bridge that has us all here today. Maybe I should say the canoe. The canoe that has us all here today fighting in the same direction. I am so proud to be the council person that serves this park here, this part of the park. I am born and raised right here, right up the street. I learned to crab here. I learned to ride my bike here. I learned to swim here, and I've been visiting this park for 46 years. Yes, I'm 46 years. I've lived right up the street. I still live here. And I want to just say, honestly, that you guys have heard that I've been fighting for open space and recreation for a long time. We fought for the completion of Berry Lane Park before I was a council person. We fought for New Fairmont Triangle Park this year to get built out of what used to be 3 streets coming together. We just completed another park in Ward F, the Bethune Center Park, and that is something that sat dormant for over 2 decades. And I've been fighting for open space, and I will not stop fighting for open space, especially when it comes to here, Liberty State Park. I fought hard for, yes, thank you. I fought really hard for the active recreation piece, and I just want to say thank you again to Sam, and thank you to the DEP for, sitting down and having those conversations. And I want to give a special thank you to the Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee. I don't know if he's still here, but I want to say a very special thank you because I've been working closely with his office on the amendments of adding the recreation to the bill. And now it's time to pass the bill and get this done to save Liberty State Park once and for all, forever. Thank you.
Pass the bill. 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 And Governor, support the Protection Act. Governor, support the Protection Act. Governor, support the Protection Act. Support the Protection Act. Support the Protection Act. You better listen to us. We represent 45 years of tens of thousands of people fighting for this park. We represent all the people who've ever written a letter, came to a public hearing, made a phone call, and fought for a free park. What's so hard for the governor to understand? A free urban park behind the Statue of Liberty.
Good afternoon, everyone. Give it up for Sam. I promised Sam I'd do this in 30 seconds. So Mayor Fulop has been an extraordinary supporter of the park and gave an incredible speech. I just had one quibble. He said, we wouldn't, this was a Saturday, this is where you'd be. And I was like, Mayor, I would be right here. But I don't want you guys to take offense to this. I wouldn't be here with you, right? I'd be here with my kids in the playground. We'd be looking at the Statue of Liberty. If this was a different day, I'd be here with my students at CAVEN Point, studying the beautiful natural environment, the mollusks, right, the fish. This is why this park is so special, because all of us come here and love it. We all use it for our families, for our community. It is a central park for Jersey City. And so our message to Governor Murphy, to Senator Sweeney, and to Speaker Coughlin is simple. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. Pass the bill. And our message to Paul Fireman is even simpler. This park is not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale. Not for sale. I hope you can hear it in the clubhouse, Paul. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, James.
Thank you so much, Sam Peston. Everyone give Sam Peston a round of applause. And give Morris Pessin a round of applause. His father and Sam Pessin started a movement for not just Jersey City and North Jersey, but all of New Jersey, okay? And every generation has its battle, and this is one of ours. Today we stand together because we have to protect this park, not just for us, but for every other generation that comes after us. Woo! I am the first generation son of immigrants. My fondest memories were formed here at this park, learning about what the Statue of Liberty meant to this country, what freedom means, learning how to fly a kite, ride a bike. These are all things, and making the best memories with your family. These are the things that we did at Liberty State Park. And every so often, we have a billionaire that comes and has a pipe dream. I want to build a marina, for millionaires so they can put their super yachts here. I want to build a casino. I want to build a golf course. The next thing you know, they're going to want to build a platform for space shuttles for billionaires. Like, this is out of control. So it is time for us to end this battle. And what Morris and Sam Pessin started, it is incumbent upon us that we continue this fight. Governor Murphy, pass the bill! Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Protect Liberty Park! Protect Liberty Park! Protect Liberty Park! Thank you, and we'll continue to come out here until that bill is passed.
Woo! Thank you, Councilman from the Heights, Youssef Saleh, for that strong speech. And now I'm going to welcome another longtime advocate for Liberty Park since he's been in office and before, Councilman at Large Orlando Lavaro.
Good afternoon. I'm Rolando Lavaro, City Councilman at Large for the City of Jersey City. I'm going to be very brief. It's all been said. There is no argument from our friends across the way about active recreation. That has been settled. There is a commitment from all the stakeholders involved, from activists, elected officials, and everyone to see active recreation. There is no question about the funding, about ensuring that we can remediate these lands, the large acres of lands, and be able to make them again usable open space for the citizens and active recreation as well. The only question that remains is to protect our public lands from privatization. And so we need, And that question can be resolved, can be answered by this state legislature and by Governor Murphy. That bill, the Liberty State Park Protection Act, languishes in our legislature in Trenton. Some of you don't know that, what I know that, there are people, bills get posted all the time. I've worked for a state legislator, a state assemblyman. And you hear folks talk about it, and our state legislators are fighting hard for that, but you're going to hear other folks who will claim that, we're considering all of these things and we're trying to figure it out and these are complicated issues. They've decided long ago that they're not going to see this come to a vote because they're beholden to their developer and corporate interests and the fireman interests. And so we all have the power, all of you, the 29,000 people and more who have signed that petition, to send a message, because it's election time, to send a message to all of them out there that this will not stand and that we will make sure that there is a political price to be paid on election day when you go out to the polls on November 2nd. So if you sign that bill, tell Assembly Speaker Coughlin to post the bill. If you sign the petition, tell Senate President Sweeney to post the bill. And if you sign the petition, tell Governor Murphy that when that bill comes to your desk, sign the bill. So let's say it once more and make sure that they hear it wherever they are throughout the state of New Jersey. Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Thank you. Let's get this job done.
Great. Thank you, Rolando. It surely is not complicated, Councilman Rolando. When I was with some people down in the State House, I saw Coughlin going by. I didn't know at that point that he had already been meeting with firemen's lobbyists. And I said, Assemblyman Speaker, get this to the floor of the Assembly, which he never did. And I said, please pass this Protection Act. And he says, oh, it's very complicated. And I said, no, it's not complicated. There's not two equal sides. There's firemen's side, and then there's the people's side. So it's very simple for the governor and the legislature. How many more decades must we fight to protect this park? We must get the park saved, as Bill O'Day and others have said, once and for all, so we can just enjoy this park and start a new peaceful era at the park and all work collaboratively together to keep improving the park. So thank you for the great, important elected officials who have spoken today. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you. Want to thank you, the people, and Sam Pessin, and all those that worked on transforming this park over 40 years ago. And I happen to know Morris. I worked with him in terms of cultural affairs, so forth. So some of these players I'm very familiar with. But I want to say briefly, my history of this park goes back 70 plus years, because as a kid, growing up on Orient Avenue, me and other friends off the street, one of them being the former mayor, Glenn Cunningham, used to play right over there where the wildlife habitat is. We used to run around and we saw the wild animals, the birds and turtles and all that back then. And next step, when I got out the military, I began working for Central Railroad as a brakeman. So I worked all these yards out here when there was the Jersey Central Railroad. And then, of course, the railroad moved out and left this whole area dilapidated and so forth. And it was fortunate that Morris Pessin and others had a vision to transform this into a state park. And that's where we stand now. And to bring it up to date, and that as far as my relationship with the park is that my group or my band has played here many years, over the years, as a jazz band representing Jersey City, New Jersey. So there's a lot of familiarity, so it was very easy to come and support this precious and sacred land. And that, so before I move on, I want to also mention that we have representatives from the Friends of Berry Lane Park here supporting this, and also Friends of Canco Park. Very active parks here right now supporting this rally, this demonstration. It's unfortunate that we have a counter demonstration here that most of them don't even realize what the issues are, because if they got their way, then firemen gets his way. And his way is to take land and more land. They're land grabbers, they're land barons, and firemen stated in the Jersey Journal not too long ago that he's given up on Caven Point, on the habitat land. He doesn't want it anymore. But why is he putting all this money into trying to force people his way? And believe it or not, all these people, the leadership that's misleading these people, the people here, community folks, and that are collecting money, are getting money from firemen, including the president of the NAACP down in Trenton. And that they're all on firemen's payroll, and that they're selling out the community, and they're selling cheaply. It's a cheap sellout, and they're misleading folks, and it's unfortunate that they're trying to also use racial discrimination as an issue. It's not an issue. I read the T-shirt they even had on there. Liberty State Park for all. Liberty State Park has been for all forever. You know? So let's wake up. So as I left off when I spoke the last time, keep this in mind as we educate the masses. All roads lead to firemen. All roads lead to firemen. He's got the bucks, and he's buying off people around the state. So we can't let Governor Murphy get off the hook because he gets a donation or so from firemen. This is our park. This is the people's park. And one of the old chants of the movement is, the people united will never be defeated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daoud. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you, Daoud. David Williams, thank you. This is Brother Keith Bodden, who is chairperson of the Armed Forces and Veterans Affairs Committee of the state NAACP and is on the executive board. And he is here as a strong ally. He spoke last year, and he represents what the NAACP really has always stood for, not what the president of the NAACP did when he took some money for his convention from firemen last year, but Keith Bodden is a true hero of social justice and human rights, and I thank you for speaking today, Keith Bodden.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Liberty State Park is a NAACP heritage park. Founded by Morris Pessin, NAACP activists during that most difficult period, 1930 to 1990. In 1975, the most difficult time, he founded Liberty State Park. A moment of silence, please, for Morris Pessin. Thank you. And now let's raise our hands, our fists, to his son, Sam Pessin, and to his family. They have taken their own financial resources to keep this movement going. Again, a fist. And I just want to say, this is not unusual, a billionaire backing an event for all people, or not backing an event for all people. Remember 1776? Okay. But in 1776, the question is presented. Why did slavery and segregation last 200 years? Because of billionaires who wanted to build the free enterprise system with slavery and cheap labor. Those were the billionaires that the activists, the NAACP and others, had to go against. And we won. And we're still winning. And I might add, I use my own financial resources to support the events of the Armed Forces and Veterans Committee. I don't go to anyone outside my family. And I want to salute my wife of 60 years over there for giving me permission and the pocket money to support the NAACP when I asked for it. I'll be back next week. Now, let's look very closely. When we look at the activists of the last 300 centuries, I am an immigrant from Jamaica who came here in the last century. And when I look back at Jamaica, I see Marcus Garvey. And I say to Marcus Garvey, would you be here today? And he says, yes, Marcus Garvey would be here today. When my parents settled down in Brooklyn, I became a Brooklyn news carrier. And back in 1951, at a celebration of the news carriers of the Brooklyn Eagle, we went to the hotel in Brooklyn, and Jackie Robinson was the main speaker. This is 1951, right after 1947. Jackie Robinson would be here today supporting this. When I settled down in Brooklyn and became a part of the great public school of Brooklyn, they would take field trips. Part of the field trips would be to the NAACP headquarters in New York City. And there I met the great NAACP leaders, and I know they would be here today. I know that W.E. Du Bois, who I never met, would be here today supporting this event. And I know that Rosa Parks from the back of the bus would come up front and say, I am supporting Liberty State Park. And in 1976, I was the coordinator of the U.S. Pennsylvania Bicentennial, the 200 years of the bicentennial. And one of the speakers was Roy Wilkins. And I would meet him at the airport as we go around the state at the various events, carrying his little bag. And one of the things he said as he go around, I will always support the events of the people. That was the bicentennial of Pennsylvania. And Roy Wilkins would have been here today saying, I support Liberty State Park Protection Act. And as part of that field trip that the great public school system would take, they took me down and others to Princeton University. We met Albert Einstein. That is correct. Albert Einstein, E equals MC squared, would be here today protecting clean air. My wife, myself, and children, we're leaving a restaurant in Washington, D.C. Malcolm X walks out, and we shake his hand. We talked briefly. And one of the things that we talked briefly was about Liberty State Park. Nah, not really. But anyway, he told me he would be here today supporting Liberty State Park. Now, as we go forward, I want to take my hat off, and for those who remember the last time I had 4 hats, this is my NAACP hat. We have an action item passed by the New Jersey Executive Committee of the NAACP that tells me, as the chair of the NAACP as the NAACP Armed Forces and Veterans Committee, there is an action item of our committee that supports Liberty State Park. And I want to make that very clear. The Executive Committee of the NAACP New Jersey State Conference passed an action item of the Armed Forces VA Committee to support to support the Liberty State Park. And anyone that wants a copy can see this gentleman over here, this great activist, Sam Pessin. In closing, over in Brooklyn, as I look to the left, I can see Prospect Park. Prospect Park was a protected park and still is. But at the end of Prospect Park was Soldiers Field. That's where the Civil War soldiers assembled in Brooklyn and came down to where that bridge is today. The bridge wasn't there. And took boats and ferry over to Staten Island, marched to the end of Staten Island, then boats and ferries to Pennsylvania, where they went to war to win the Civil War for the North. Soldiers Field today is dedicated to youth, baseball, softball, basketball. And in my youth, I, again, would play baseball there. And then every once in a while I would get a job at Ebbets Field selling hot dogs, whatever. No questions asked. And I can tell you again, and I stress, Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Gil Hodges, Billy Cox, Duke Snyder. Did I left anyone out? They would all be supported of Liberty State Park. Quickly. And Morris is telling me, Sam is telling me to keep it quiet. Okay, I'm going to continue very quickly. This is the bicentennial of my school, Pennsylvania Military College, now Widener University. In 1960, I graduated, degree in chemistry, commissioned in the U.S. Army, nuclear weapons officer. This school was founded by Dr. Bullock from South Jersey. Dr. Bullock, we are now celebrating the bicentennial of my college. And next month, at the homecoming, I will be asking the veterans and the students and the faculties of Widener University to support Liberty State Park, because John Bullock, the founder from South Jersey, would be here today supporting it. And I thank you. Let us continue to support. But more important, let us continue peacefully to honor those U.S. veterans, those civilians that have made us more free and that have made the Constitution live for all of us. Thank you so much for Liberty State Park Protection Act. Keith Bodden and wife Yvonne Bodden from Brooklyn.
When we came here before, and we were just talking about just this divide, because what Fireman has done, he has divided communities. And I will even go as far as to say that he has single-handedly divided the black community. And to a point right now where we have 2 rallies taking place right now. And so I would say to everyone on both sides, you don't know who, even in the helicopters, and folks are giving the fingers. I would tell both sides this. You've heard over the last year the dialogue with active recreation, and active recreation is going to take place inside of Liberty State Park. So, to my friends, whatever over there, there's no need to come out anymore. Just redivert your energy and your efforts into ensuring that, number one, the Protection Act is passed. Because I'm gonna tell you this, firemen's money is in the elect accounts or in the civic associations of many people who are serving inside of the community. And so, no, it's the truth, it's the truth. And I understand why they take the money, because some people may be serving the children, some people may have their organizations and everything else. But now, being that active recreation and the youth taking advantage of these grounds, it's a no-brainer. Just consolidate those efforts. It was a big thing out here today to see Jermaine Robinson out here, right? It was big. So now I just ask Jermaine and others and everybody else just to tell the crowd that you're going to have fields. The youth are going to be served. And let's rally behind friends of Liberty State Park and all the other advocates who have been championed for decades. Let's just become one Jersey City and let's get this done. Let's protect these lands and let's just make sure that we get what we want here in Jersey City. So that's my call and that's my plea. I know you can hear me over there. I just ask that you stop these efforts right now. They're well-intended and misinformed, but let's just unify to make sure that this park is protected so that we can have that active recreation, because if you're not fighting for protection, you're fighting for this, the loss of this precious commodity, which is this park. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you everybody for being here today. As has been said, the bad news is that we're still here today, but the good news is that we're still here today, and we're fighting, and we're going to continue to fight. And we know why. This is a health issue. This is a climate issue. This is an issue of education justice, environmental justice, and we need to continue to fight to protect every inch of this park. There's no reason why we ever should consider turning over 1 inch to any billionaire for any reason, anytime. So we know why we're here. It's all been said. I do want to underscore that this is definitely an environmental justice and racial justice issue. The American Center for Progress and Hispanic Access Foundation just put out a report this summer that says that 74% of communities of color are what they call nature deprived. And we have here a jewel in the state that provides access to nature and to outdoor activities for everyone. And so we have to fight even harder to make this happen. It's all been said, Sam. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for what the Friends have done. But it's really up to us. And as we always say, let's take some action. Everybody, before you leave today, get out your phone. You're going to text the governor. You're going to text President Sweeney. You're going to text Speaker Coughlin. You are going to text every single representative you have in the state to tell them that this has to happen now. We need to pass the Protection Act, and we need to get it signed. That's it. It's been said 1,000 times, but that's what we have to do, and it's up to each and every one of us to do it. So get out your phone and call whoever you have to call, text whoever you have to call, whatever all that other stuff is, post, Instagram, everything. We have to keep up the fight, and we're behind you, Sam, and we'll do it. And as somebody else said, we're going to win this. It's 100% for sure. It's just a matter of when. So lame duck is coming up. We all know what that is, right? We got a chance to get this done this year. Let's get it done. You just got to keep fighting harder and harder and harder. Pass the bill, sign the bill. That's all there is to it. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Paula Mahayosna. I'm president of the Jersey City Parks Coalition. I'm here today with Don Giambalvo, one of our 11 board trustees. Don is also the president and founder of Kenko Park Conservancy. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Friends of Liberty State Park, for inviting us today. We are all inspired by your long-standing commitment to protect CAVEN Point. We are a 27-member park, and we stand here to say we proudly support Sam Pessin and the Friends of Liberty State Park. Our Jersey City members are committed and will continue to advocate the importance and urgency needed to pass Liberty State Park Protection Bill now. it's great because we've been a long time member for the Friends of Liberty State Park, and I'm happy to announce, after 10 years, the Friends of Liberty State Park has joined us. They recognize that one of our key missions is to engage with the community, to understand what you need. What are we looking for? How can we work as a group? And together, united, we can do this. We can pass this bill. So thank you for showing up and turning out. So earlier this week, we met with Liberty State Park Superintendent Rob Rodriguez. It was an exciting moment for all of us. But one thing he stressed was that, Liberty State Park is the only free state natural resource here in Jersey City. It's not just for our residents, it's for everyone and our residents. He also stressed that the diversity here is remarkable, right? We have the salt marshes, we have a freshwater pond, what else did I forget? And we have the pollinator gardens and the wildlife. It's all here, so we need to protect this together. We have rabbits, right, horseshoe crabs, I know a lot of us.
Birds of prey.
Birds of prey. So when I wrote this, our 27 park members, everyone contributed. There's so much to say, and a lot of our members here have heard from other speakers, and I just want to reiterate, we are all stewards of this park. We are all stewards for protecting open space. And in Jersey City, it's limited. But with the 1,000 acres of Liberty State Park, we stand here, Sam, and Friends of Liberty State Park, that this piece of property cannot be sold. This is for our people. This is for us. One JC member stressed, please, Paula, say this. Once we change and alter the coastline, we're impacting the habitat. We're impacting its role to do its job, to act as a natural barrier against rising waters to prevent floods. Climate change is real. That's why we're here. We can't sell off a beautiful piece of land to build something that we can't restore once we say we don't need it anymore. Before I hand the mic over to Dawn, I personally want to say, and many of you probably feel the same way, we come here with our families, to our friends. I personally come here to, I'll say all the R's, reflect and remember, right? When I just need a break from it all, to rejoice. How many of us had family reunions, celebrated birthday parties right over there? It's just remarkable. We get to reunite, to repent. During the holiest times of the years, religious communities come over there right on the corner and repent. So I ask, please stay strong. For those across the park over there, you're leaving, stay. We've got plenty of things to say here. You need to hear this. Over the 18 months, the JCPC has been speaking virtually. It's been fantastic, but to see everyone up close, live, it's more impactful. So thank you. Hold up your signs, everyone. I'm going to give a shout. Be a hero, Governor Murphy. Protect Liberty State Park. Pass the Liberty State Act. Time to end the silence. I need your signs up. Liberty State Park is for all, Jersey City. Governor Murphy, support the Liberty State Protection Act. CAVEN Point and Liberty State Park is for the birds and for all. So here we go, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's really lovely to see all of you here. So many familiar faces, actually. This is great. So I just wanted to say a couple of words just to remind us, emotionally remind us of what's in our heart when we're here. When we're here at Liberty State Park or the parks in Jersey City. It's about nature, really. It's what connects us. It connects us to our humanity and to each other. It's not until we are in nature that we can hear our own inner voice clearly, that we know who we are outside of the noise and bustle of our lives. Parks are vital to the survival of wildlife in a city, but are also vital to our survival, our survival. Places to decompress, cool off, to meet, to greet, explore, learn, grow. Liberty State Park is the park of the people. The people need it, and it needs to be protected. That's it.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's great to be here. Again, my name is Ayla, and I'm here representing Bike JC, which is the local advocacy organization that aims to make Jersey City safe and welcoming for bicyclists of all ages and abilities. It truly goes without saying that Jersey City's vibrant bike community, many of which are in this great crowd here, would not be what it is today without the existence of Liberty State Park. Liberty State Park has been instrumental in helping Bike JC advance our mission, which is why we have been a longtime proud ally in this fight to keep the park free and green. Liberty State Park, I think you all know, is a one-of-a-kind urban oasis for peaceful recreational biking behind scenic Lady Liberty here. It's also a place where many parents teach their children to ride a bike for the very first time in a safe, car-free environment. It's where competitive cyclists come to train for races. It has served as the host for group rides and charity rides and major athletic events. It also serves as a connecting point between Jersey City neighborhoods for cycling commuters. And the list goes on. And just as Liberty State Park has been a home for the cycling community, it has been a home for so many other communities as well. And that's what makes this place so truly special. So we cannot allow greed and private land grabs to rob us of the memories and experiences created here. And whether you're a cyclist or not, I think all of us have learned the true value of urban open space, especially during this pandemic, when urban open space in Jersey City is at a premium. Liberty State Park kept us sane and healthy by providing us safe, socially distant, outdoor public recreation in a densely populated area. For those like myself who live in an apartment that does not have any outdoor space, this park is our urban backyard. I truly hate to think of what the last year and a half would have been like without access, full access actually, to this entire park and its natural areas like Haven Point. Public spaces are for the people. I think it's pretty simple, actually. Just as our city streets are not for the exclusive use of drivers, they're also for cyclists, pedestrians, etc. Our public parks are not for the exclusive use of anyone, but especially golfers or billionaires. So, to ensure that this remains the people's park as it was intended to be, I urge Governor Murphy and our state legislators to pass the Liberty State Park Protection Act so that we can once and for all end this decades-long privatization battle and ensure that this is the very last one of these rallies we have to have. Thank you so much.
Wow, this is me. I'm Rafael Torres. I'm a retired Jersey City firefighter. I'm a 30-year activist here in Jersey City, and also a participant of this park. I have 2 children who learned how to ride their bicycles here, and I'm so glad of that. And this is my friend, of course, Governor Murphy. And, well, don't call him knucklehead yet, okay? He has an election year, okay? So either we support him or we don't. That's but first, I want everyone to breathe, because we have 234 acres here. Breathe. Ah, man. Especially in these trying times for over 30 years, this has been our park. Today, we can still breathe. We have recently achieved, at the hands of the state DEP, a working plan that gave us over 60 acres of active recreation and over 174 acres of new passive acres here in Liberty State Park. Is it? Breathe. You can breathe. Okay, so let's settle that in, okay? Thanks for the friend of Liberty State Park, Sam. Thank you. activists of all races. We have the People's Park, all races, for all, the People's Park. Despite those who didn't show up along the way, we got you now, we got you. Jersey City gave us more than 150 acres to this concept. Remember that. They gave 150 acres, and thanks to Mayor. This mayor, he's been thinking out of the box, and I love him for that. He gave close to 20 acres to Liberty Science Center for the Liberty Science Center sci-fi, or I should say the Sci-Tech City proposal, which we would give to our community, especially a high school community, a educated tool to use here in the park. Liberty Science Center has a planetarium that's the biggest in the Western Hemisphere, here in Liberty State Park. Breathe, breathe, you can breathe. Okay. Also, I want to commend everyone, Sam. 28,000 signed the petition as of today, maybe 30? 29,000 who signed the petition. These are the accomplishments that we have now. For instance, we almost had a water park proposal here, but we don't have that, right? No. We could have had developed a casino, but as we spoke about, we don't have that. We don't have the marina. We don't have that. We could breathe the space. Okay, it's very important. We could have had a prestige golf club right there in the middle of the interior, but we don't have that. Thank goodness. It would have been fenced off, and we wouldn't have had to pay $60 probably to rent the equipment for one day playing golf. What minority group would like that? You see the fence that's over there south of this park. That fence, you can't even see that beautiful land that they put their chemicals on, that flows in that water. Don't forget these things. Now that we must protect it in writing, we demand our state legislators to help us seal the deal by introducing the Liberty State Park Protection Plan. And the Governor Murphy, sorry, Governor, he must sign it. Must sign it today. Sign it before the election. Let them know. We're going to vote for you, right? You're going to sign it, right? That's very important. The Protection Act is very important for our future. So look at what he's trying to do. He has pinned us, Mr. Fireman has pinned us against the black community while getting his minions to do his bidding for him, using our inactive citizens to point at us as if we did nothing to secure this park for all the people. I mean, they're pointing at us, okay, with their beautiful little T-shirts. I wonder how much that costs. Our leaders, to include the NAACP and the Hudson County Democrat Black Caucus, have publicly blamed Sam Pessin and the Friends of Liberty State Park are not including the community on said accomplishments. We did it. It's done. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Sorry about that. Okay. So we must organize and do one last thing, and we touched on this. It's very important that we take the next steps if we don't go, or we go out of the virtual realm to protect this park. We're gonna have to go to Trenton. Please take this enthusiastic faces that I love and see. We also have some bottles left, please, water. Okay, take that enthusiasm and bring it down to Trenton with us when we have to go down there. Last time that we went, Sam and I could tell you, that's when we found out there was a man fireman against us, okay? Because they were the last one that spoke, as we all spoke in Trenton. We were blindsided by this one speaker who represented firemen. I don't know if you were there, but that's when we realized we have a big job to do in the future, and we need help. We need you. Please, do what you're doing. Do what you did for the last 30 years. Help everyone, the rabbits, everyone. You just help us, okay? And let us do this in Trenton. Thank you. Take the fight to Trenton. Thank you.
Thanks very much. You guys are the warriors among warriors. You're all here. I don't believe it. You're all still awake. And that's why we have the park. And so my gift back to you is going to be, I'm going to sum up the Liberty State Park Protection Act in 2 minutes and then we can enjoy the rest of the day as we will. So first off, what the Liberty State Park Protection Act is everything that you've asked for, what you've called out from the crowd, what you have in your signs, what you've done over the years, what we've all asked for together. Simply to keep the park for the people, for park goers, and not for developers. That's it. It's just what we've asked for. It was inside of it, there's 5 points. Point 1 is what type of development should be in the park. Do you want golf courses and Formula One racetracks, or do you want Italian ice stands and bike rentals and you know, any kind of ice stands? All ethnicity ice stands, but Italian ice is famous. So that's the type of development. Do you want closed meetings, or do you want more open meetings with DEP, which is why they did not have active recreation, because they would not meet with people. That's why we had to fight, because they would not meet with people. This bill asks for more public meetings. That's it, simple. Okay, what else does it ask for? All right, should we just have backroom deals made, or should we have public advisory committee making sure that everything's done out in front of everybody with all of us there to participate? That's it. That's what it asks for. If you want to be on, you know, if you want the backroom deals, go over, you know, that's fireman's territory. But if our territory, everybody who's cared and is part of this park, is having it out in the sunshine, having this out in the public so we can all have our say, which we've been having and time again. And then we ask, the last part is that, do you want our park, our Caven Point natural area, to stay a natural area for our school children, for everybody to enjoy the nature, or do you want it to be a private golf course? Those are the only issues out there. That's exactly what the bill is. It breaks down into that. How can you be against it unless you have some kind of special interest, which obviously Paul Fireman does, and we all don't, except that we care about each other, we love the park, we love the environment, we love our children, we love environmental justice, we love active recreation, we love passive recreation, all at Liberty Park and everywhere. Thank you all so much for everything you've done. You're wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg, for that summary of the Protection Act. It was well written. It was done even in consensus with some of the leaders of the DEP a couple of years ago. And now, because of the governor's silence on the Protection Act, the DEP is muzzled. So we have a Department of Environmental Protection that is silent about a protection bill, which is just shameful. So the spotlight, right. The spotlight needs to be on the governor, who's just sitting back saying Liberty Park's a treasure, but he's not doing a damn thing when he should be on our side. He should be saying, hey, yeah, he wants to sign the bill right here where you are, right in the Flag Plaza. The governor should have his desk and sign the Protection Act, and once and for all, protect this park. And he has such an opportunity on a silver platter to be a hero of this park and send a message to our whole nation and the whole world that he as a governor and we as a state, we're going to protect this public open space behind the Lady Liberty, and that we shouldn't have a country where democracy is subverted by wealthy people and politicians. And the governor needs to do the right thing. The last shout out, I want to mention the Friends of Liberty State Park Board. I just see a few of you here now, but Eliza Wright was here earlier, and I see Rick Cordner, our treasurer, and maybe Sarah and Allison are here, and maybe Gladys is here. Roberta just got a knee operation, but thanks to the board of the Friends of Liberty State Park. And I want to thank Ruth Cordner, who's here today, who started an American Legion post in Jersey City, and Ruth has been working on, and thank you, Ruth Cordner. Ruth has been working with Juliet Foster, who's Director of Veterans Affairs for Jersey City, because they have a vision of this initiative of veterans having a program to help veterans with PTSD to go out to the peaceful nature sanctuary at CAVEN Point to help them. So that's the value of urban nature. It's for students, it's for veterans, it's for everybody. And thank you again, Keith Bodden for supporting with the committee the PTSD program at CAVEN Point. And let me just mention, CAVEN Point, starting next Saturday, October 2nd, is going to be open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So it's been closed for months because it's a migratory bird habitat and nesting area. Superintendent Rob Rodriguez wants really to have a looping boardwalk and have CAVEN Point Boardwalk be open more of the year and just protecting the beach for some of the months. So hopefully in the future we'll have more access for more months of the year onto that boardwalk, into that amazing sanctuary where Shana Marchese and others with Instagram take amazing pictures of birds out there. But people who just want to go out and be in a peaceful place, and people who bring dogs out there, it's an important part of this park. Every inch of this park is priceless, and I want to thank the superintendent of the park, Robert Rodriguez, who has been so supportive of people who visit the park, and he was put under a difficult position today with the fireman group being located by the commissioner right in front of us. I want to thank the I don't know if you all can hear it, but I'm thanking the state park police who are here to protect us if there was any trouble. So thank you to Sergeant Jose Salerna of Liberty Park and all the officers who came from other parks today. Thank you to everyone for coming. God bless you. God bless Liberty State Park. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.